we're live. We're
Awesome,
here.
we're live.
What's up, everybody? Welcome. It's the
This
BIA
is the
Gamecast,
BIA Gamecast.
VGA edition. Heck yeah. VGAs are tomorrow. I'm so excited, dude, for the
Dude,
VGAs.
it's gonna be 4 hours long. That's crazy.
Oops, I had to mute my
That's all
mic.
good.
All right. Yeah, 4 hours. It's a crappy thing that it starts at 5 o'clock. But we'll get
This
it.
goes
Sip it
to
in.
5 to 9 with the half an hour pre-show, but we'll watch as much as we possibly can, and then next Wednesday we'll be talking about what happened. But tonight, at the end of the show, we're actually going to talk about our predictions for the show, and also who we think is going to win what game awards, but also if anything might be shown. You know, Phil Spencer's got an interview, what we think they're going to talk about.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I want to watch the pre-show, but I'm sadly gonna be working that time. And
yeah, it's at 4:30.
yeah, pre-show is at 4:30. I don't know, might be able to manage it, but well, definitely we're definitely excited. Gonna have a VGA Gamecast or uh, game, VGA watch party together. But
Yeah,
let's
me and my
talk about it,
brother,
dude. Let's get into it.
Crazy Me.
That's the
Well,
bulk of it. But yeah, we're gonna start with Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah, everything that's going on with
Yeah.
Cyberpunk.
So with that, I wanted to hit on some smaller topics first, and then we're gonna get into some Halo Infinite talk, and then the end is gonna be all about the video game awards, our predictions, what we think is gonna happen, who do we think is gonna win, and we're gonna talk about the event that's happening tomorrow. But the first topic we have actually is about Cyberpunk 2077. So the game is getting no more delays. That's good. I mean, it's coming
Yeah,
out
that's good.
tomorrow. Play it tonight.
Oh, I want that. That's the game that I want so badly. I mean, there's people though that are saying, like, critics that review the game. They've been saying wait, it's really buggy, but apparently there's still the day one patch, the day zero patch, and all that stuff. But that is kind of a crappy thing that we've waited so long for it, and that it still comes out if it's really buggy. Uh, Tomorrow when it still comes out and everybody's running into bugs and issues, that's not going to be very good for it. That's not going to be a lot of fun. But it's, do you know the meta right now? It was like a 91 last time I knew.
I have not seen the meta, but that will change a little bit. We'll look at that. We'll talk about the meta next week. Cyberpunk's meta critic. Okay.
Yeah,
Um.
yeah.
So with Cyberpunk 2077, the game is out now. There's no more waiting. There may be bugs. This happens with CD Projekt Red games. I'm not saying it's okay. It's almost like you get a bunch of people playing a game and they kind of help you find bugs, I guess. But we saw it with The Witcher 3. We saw a bunch of bugs at the very beginning of the game. We saw that even though the game was released in 2015, that it only got better over time. Even a single player, RPG game like The Witcher 3, it had bugs, quite a bit of them on day one. It took a while to fix everything. There's barely any bugs now. I mean, sure, there's some, but not like super prominent bugs. But it's going to be about the same thing with Cyberpunk. I can see why they're not delaying it anymore. It's been 7 years in the making. They've delayed it already 2, 3 times. It was supposed to come out in March, then it was supposed to come out in September, then it was supposed to come out in November, and now it's finally December and it's here. So no more delays for Cyberpunk. They even told their investors. Their investors were like, "Hey, what's going on with Cyberpunk?" And they said, "Well, we're not going to delay it anymore. We're trying to get a good game out for our audience, but we're not going to delay it anymore. The game's here. They crunched. That was another topic like that people were talking about, right? They crunched really hard on the game for the last like 2, 3 months to try to get it out, but it wasn't like a mandatory crunch because in Poland they don't even allow like mandatory overtime. It all has to be voluntary overtime. So that got all blown out of proportion in my opinion, but there was crunch and it wasn't mandatory, it was voluntary, but it was it almost seemed like it was if you didn't do it, you were looked down on by your colleagues, but you
Yeah,
didn't have to do it because yeah, the law.
yeah, that's
What do you?
understandable. You don't want to like if you're a developer and you're working on a game, you're invested in it. You're I think you're gonna be willing to put in a little more time to get it out there and make it the best it can be. But the thing that is crappy about it, in my opinion, that I can see, is that people that jump into the game and buy the game, whatever, and they experience game breaking bugs, which I hope there isn't any game breaking bugs. But you know me,
Same.
like in the past with certain games, where if I've experienced a bug that's uh, not super game breaking, but I can't get an achievement because of it. That turns me off. And some people, it's like if they experience just a ton of bugs, they could be turned off from the game and be like, "Nah, I'm not gonna play this," and go off. And forget about it and not come back to it. I mean, it is Cyberpunk 2077, so I don't think that's gonna happen. I think people have been anticipating this game for 7 years, and
Well, yeah,
because
you're right with the anticipation. Where actually some people are saying it's not just the game of the year. Like obviously it's not going to be in the VGAs, but it's not just like the best game of this year, not the best game of this generation. They're saying it's the best game ever. Like some people are saying that. They're saying like it's the best game I played ever.
yeah, wow, that's crazy. Well, that's CD Project Red. They seem to have that reputation of they make just immensely incredible games, and they have their stories are so immersive and engaging, and people love them. And it's like even their DLCs, and they make huge games. They're definitely CD Project Red is definitely on the top of the developer list, and people love their games. And see, I'm super excited for it. I really want to play it. And see, the thing between me is like, I want to buy it, but there's that voice in my head that's
Bro,
like, it might come to Game Pass. Should I wait?
one day,
One
but
day, but it's like, who knows? It could be like just a couple months down. It's like, you don't know, because Microsoft they're really trying to get these, and being able to put Cyberpunk in to Game Pass would be huge. Even just a couple months out or a year out, day and day. That's not
that's not
gonna happen.
happening.
That's not happening.
I honestly don't think it's going to come to Game Pass until at least a year after it's out. It would be really good for it to come to Game Pass, but I just don't think that's going to happen. Like Cyberpunk 2077 is such a massive game, and the fact that they spent so much money on it, it's not viable. Like it's not something we're going to see very soon, but I think it would be really cool for it to come to Game Pass one day. I just honestly don't see it happening soon.
Yeah, I mean, I probably won't wait. I'll probably buy it because I really want it. I'll just get it on my PC. The Microsoft Store, Xbox ecosystem, and but first I gotta finish my other games or get a bigger SSD for my PC,
Yeah.
because that's the main issue right there. But
You, who, this is, you're anticipating this game. You don't buy a ton of games in a year. You like Game Pass, obviously, but this game, you've been thinking about it and you want to buy it, right? It's like,
yes,
oh,
oh
I want to
yes,
buy it. Are you gonna wait that year? Do you really want to wait the full year, like for it to come to Game Pass? And it, I don't know, it could take a year and a half. We'll see. But
do
do
I
you really want to wait that long?
do I want to? No, I don't.
Yeah.
Could I? Yeah, I could, because it's like I wait on a lot of games to play them. It's like right now I'm playing Shadow of War, and that's an older game, and I've wanted to play that for a while, but never really kind of got around to it. And it's in Game Pass, so freaking heck yeah! Hooray for Game Pass for letting me have that opportunity to play a game that I've wanted to play for a while, because I love Lord of the Rings and I'm having a blast with it, and I don't want to. I have trouble kind of, especially like two big games like that, playing them both at the same time, I kind of want to play.
It's not as immersive, that's for sure.
I want to play one game and kind of go through it and get it done and get it completely finished before I go on to another big game like that. But I don't know. I really don't want to wait to play Cyberpunk. I want to, especially when it's new, I want to get into the action. I want to experience it with everybody else and share my thoughts on it with everybody else on Twitter, you know.
Right.
But
well, that's like, let's just say that the first party games didn't come to Game Pass day one, that they took them 6 months, right? Let's say that was what Xbox was doing instead of what they're doing. I would buy Halo Infinite day one. That's such an anticipated game for me. I'd buy it day one. I wouldn't wait. So it really just comes down to the hardcore want the game. They're going to buy it day one. The people who love Remedy, they bought Control day one. I don't. Like, Remedy's all right, but their games aren't in my top 10, top 20 favorite games or game franchise, you know, like, they're enjoyable, but I'm not playing Control. I didn't buy a Control and I didn't even play it, but now I'm going to play it because it comes to Game Pass, you know what I mean? But like Cyberpunk 2077, most people would buy it just because, like, unless it came to Game Pass day one, they want to play it right away pretty much, right?
yeah. Or if they knew it was coming to Game Pass, they would probably wait if it was only a couple months. I don't know, though. But that's just my thing. It's like, if I knew it was coming to Game Pass, yeah, I'd wait to buy it, to play it. But
anyways, the topic isn't just Cyberpunk is here. It's also talking about the next gen update, and a full next gen update isn't actually coming until next year, spring of next year, early next year. I don't know whether it's going to be January, February, or probably be around March, but you're not getting a full next gen update for Cyberpunk 2077 until next year, and that was what the other part of the topic was about.
yeah, I mean, even though you're not getting that full update until next year, the hardware alone is gonna give you a tiny bit better experience, a better boost to it. I think.
Right.
So even then, it's that's worth it to have it, because just the hardware alone, without any software, especially with what, because from my understanding, what they did was it's backwards compatible.
Yes, it's backwards compatible
version to bring it over to the Series consoles.
Yeah, the PlayStation 5 and Series X and S both use the backwards compatible version of Cyberpunk 2077, but they did improve the backwards compatible version a little bit for a slight upgrade. If you, like, from the Xbox One X to the Xbox Series X, it'd be a slight upgrade, like, not taking into account any sort of load time, obviously. But like the game itself, like having a full next gen patch with like the assets and ray tracing, you know, having 4K assets they'll have, yeah, but the graphical intensity, certain effects, graphical effects they won't have, and ray tracing is one of those, right? Probably VRS is another one of those, like, to take advantage of next gen. But so far, like, it's not a big deal. Some people say they're gonna wait for next gen update so they get the most out of the game. Some people say, no way, I'm gonna wait. I'm just gonna play it now.
Here's the thing, though. From what I've listened to and what I've seen about the game, is that there's so many different ways you can play it. There's different ways you can play it. So you could play it. There's like 3 different roles you could play as. And even if you play it right when it comes out, and then finally the next gen patch comes out, you could play that. You could play it again, and you can get a completely different experience. Yeah, this is the same story, but it's kind of different the way you're playing it and your character and stuff like that. So they've made it viable to come back to the game and play it multiple times instead of just the one you're done. Because some people be like, that may be why they don't want to play it right away or something that's like I want to experience it first time with all these next gen features, with the next gen
Right.
patch. But you don't need to, because you could play it and then have a completely different experience besides the story. Because I think that's
Also,
the same. But
when you think about like the patch coming out, they're probably going to add content as well. They have said that they're going to add content to the game, like not necessarily a seasons thing, but they're going to release updates with new stuff. They want to keep the game fresh. It's not just going to be a game, even it's single player. They don't want it to just be a game that's a single player campaign, comes out on launch, and then they've even stated in interviews they don't want this to be the case with the game. They
do you,
want to keep it
do you think they'll
up
add
to date.
multiplayer with
I
that?
think they very well could.
That could be a very big possibility. Just add
Now,
multiplayer.
what kind of multiplayer? Like, what would be the modes? Like, what would be the idea behind the multiplayer? You got to be something compelling,
I
like
think GTA similar or something like GTA Online,
Cyberpunk Online, yeah,
Cyberpunk Online,
Cyberpunk
stuff like that.
2077.
That could be really, really fun. I
Yeah,
I see that game. It's just like really getting into it. It's like because I really got into GTA Online, especially playing with my friends and everything. And the story mode wasn't. The story was really fun in GTA 5, but it didn't take a lot of time like Cyberpunk's going to. The story mode is going to really, you can really get immersed and it can really take you a ton of hours. Up to you can get I think I could get up to 100 hours easy just on the story or the
single
campaign my
player.
first playthrough alone. Yeah. But
Well,
adding,
some people are saying that if you don't do any of the side quests or anything, it could be 25, 30-hour game. You got to remember that they said they didn't want the main story to be as long as The Witcher 3 was. Because a lot of people didn't finish The Witcher 3 because the main story was too long, so they actually added a lot more side content to flesh out the game and make it longer, but not in the main story.
yeah, but that's the way I play though. I take my time with games. It's like I could be so much further into Shadow of War right now, but I'm not because if I like messing around sometimes, and not just rushing through the game and feeling like I got the full worthwhile experience out of it. Let some people they'll just rush through the game and then they'll get rid of it and move on to something else. That's not how I play games. I like to mess
Right.
around. I like to go into, especially in open world games. I like to explore and find everything this game and the world has to offer. And I'm going to do that. That's why I say I could easily get 100 hours in my first playthrough in Cyberpunk 2077. I probably
I'm
will.
sure you could. Well, Cyberpunk 2077, it's a good topic and everything, but we got to move on because it's already 20 minutes in the show and we got some big topics we got to talk about.
Yeah, it's a packed show for you guys.
Oh yeah, this week and next week will both be big shows because we got a lot of news and everything. But we got Xbox boss Phil Spencer has actually praised the DualSense controller. So I know people like to talk about a console war and say, "Oh, like the bosses shouldn't even like talk about the other boxes at all. Just act like they don't even exist," type of thing. It's like you can't do that. It's a competition, but at the same time, it's like you got to build off of what good things other people do. Like the share button wouldn't be on Xbox if it wasn't for PlayStation. The capture button wouldn't even be on um, Nintendo Switch if it wasn't for PS4. So people may say that about him praising the DualSense controller, but he says they applaud what uh, he
You
he
you cut
actually.
out there. You cut out there, bro. You wanna?
Oh, he said that he applauds what they did with the controller. Well, he
Oh,
shouldn't say. He doesn't say, huh?
well, yeah. No, no. I can hear you. Go on.
What do you think about him applauding what they did with the controller? He says it, and in an interview
Well,
with The Verge.
from what I've seen, I mean, I haven't used it. I don't have a PlayStation 5, but from what I've seen, what I've heard from other people, that it's a really innovative controller with the, especially in Astro Playbots where it uses its full potential. So of course, why wouldn't you? You have this, even if it's another company taking a giant step and leap in technology advancements, you're gonna want to point out their, like, that's good. That's good. You're not gonna want to downplay it or just brush it off like it's nothing just to keep a war going on because of your competition. No, it's really not good business practice, and it's just, and Bill's a good guy, and if he likes something, of course he's gonna say it. And I think it's a really good, innovative controller that, from a big leap from the PlayStation 4 DualShock to the PlayStation 5 DualSense. And just because of they're on the other side in competition, because of there's this console war going on, means that he should just downplay or destroy or just trying to think of the right word, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to say.
I get what you're saying. Yes, like, just because he's the head of Xbox doesn't mean he can't praise something on PlayStation. It's like, it's innovation. Like, why would you not praise someone or a company that's innovating and pushing the industry forward?
And guess what? He's a gamer. He plays PlayStation games.
Yeah.
Even though he's the head of Xbox, he plays PlayStation games because he's a gamer. When
the most important thing to remember is he wants the gaming industry to move forward and to innovate and become better, and he sees what PlayStation does, and he actually has a lot of respect for a lot of the things they do.
Yeah, you're not going to grow the industry and push it by just bashing the other person on the head constantly.
No, you're not. It's impossible. Anyways, I just thought it was interesting about Phil Spencer, about him praising the DualSense and, oh, you shouldn't do that. I mean, yes, we don't see Jim Ryan praising anything that Xbox does, but Phil Spencer and Xbox, they have a different attitude. They have a different demeanor. They think differently. They don't think of PlayStation as the bad boy next door, It's not that type of thing. They think of them as they're a neighbor, and in some aspects we're friends, and in some aspects we're competitors,
Yeah, and they're in the big picture. The competition between the two just pushes them to do better and pushes the industry forward. And that's the main goal. That's what everyone's PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, Stadia, and what Amazon, Luna, that's what they all should do. Is good competition to try to push the industry forward, not try to beat the other person and want them to fail because of they want to be the best and at everything. So the only way that's going to happen is if they fail. No, that's
it's not the way to be.
It's not.
So yeah, that was just something, that perks my ears when I hear about it, or like, I raise my eyes when I see it, because it's the industry, like the interview with Phil Spencer a couple weeks back. The industry needs to move past this, like, console war narrative and this, just an attack. It's like, since you don't own this box, you
don't
suck.
Prefer this box, I hate you. I don't know you.
Yeah.
And we're both gamers. We both play games, but I have a distaste for you because of you prefer something else that I don't, or you prefer something that I don't care for or I don't like. So I look at you in disgust and demeanor and try to beat you down and trash on you. You're trying to tear somebody down that could, when at their full potential could really benefit you and benefit everybody. Why would you want to tear somebody down when they could take their potential, full potential, and raise everybody up and raise the industry up because of it? It's hurting you and it's hurting the industry when you try to destroy the other person because of you don't like the place they prefer to play.
Yeah, it's the whole innovation thing too. Like, we get the whole console war, but innovation between the two companies and the competitiveness, it shouldn't be seen as a console war. It should be seen as, I did this, what can you do? I did this for the players, what can you do for the players? It should all be about the players, right? So when you think about something like Game Pass, it's like, you even see Jim Ryan saying, like, we'll have something in the future, in the not so distant future, to combat Game Pass, where they see that it is a big thing and that Xbox hit the mark with Game Pass, and they're gonna copy it in some way. Maybe not 100% copy, but they're gonna copy it.
Yeah, they see the potential there. They see the money. They don't, and they're leaving something behind if they don't do it.
Exactly.
And they don't want that, so why would they?
No one wants that. Like, things left behind because a company didn't try something. Like, you wouldn't have PlayStation Now if, or maybe even Game Pass, if it wasn't for Sony trying to say, let's try this streaming thing. And it was early days, but an Xbox sees PlayStation Now, and yeah, it's not doing super great, but they think they could innovate off of that, and they made Game Pass where you can download games, and good library. Yeah, there's a good library on PlayStation Now, but it was too expensive at first, and you couldn't download games, and the streaming quality wasn't there, right?
Yeah. But it's Microsoft or it's Xbox innovating that's pushing another company to innovate, just like it's like the controller. Their Xbox controller kind of already had some of those features in it, but Sony, PlayStation, they innovated to push it even further, and then Xbox is going to be like, oh, we'll combat that. We'll innovate even further to on top of and building on top of what your competition has done, and it builds everyone up. Good competition, right. Not destruction and anger and hate for something you just don't prefer or don't like. It's not good in life, and you'll be bitter, and it's gonna hurt you along with the industry you love along with it.
Exactly. So we got the Game Pass, like, in PlayStation Now. There were two things that weren't here in the 7th generation with the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3, and that's innovation. We have more haptics in our controllers than we ever have before, and that's thanks to Xbox and PlayStation. There was the haptic feedback in the triggers with they're not adaptive triggers, they're more like impulse triggers with the motors, and Xbox had that all generation. And yeah, I will admit the PlayStation 5s took that and they advanced on that idea, and they made adaptive triggers where you can actually, like, instead of it just being an impulse, it's like you actually feel it in there. It's like you feel the tension on the bow. You can't press the trigger down if you don't have any bullets or if your gun's jammed, you know what I mean? Like, and it's innovative. It's cool.
That is really cool, and it brings you just more of an immersive experience if
exactly
it's integrated in the game. And I hope that more developers will use those features. That's crazy to think of, that a controller can give you a more immersive experience.
And it can. Anyways, we're gonna go to Game Pass and talk about new games in Game Pass. We're just barely talking about Game Pass and how awesome it is, but there's actually new games for December, and you got some that leave every month, but third-party games. But we also get a new batch every month. So when games jump in Game Pass, I'd say play them because you don't know how long they're going to be there. But let's talk about what's arriving in Game Pass and what's leaving Game Pass for December. All right.
All right, let's get into it.
So Control, is coming into Game Pass finally. The
About
funny thing
time.
about it is,
Phil Spencer gave that away a long time ago, and now it's
I
finally
know
here.
it's funny, but it was talked about last December, like Crazy Mate was saying, and Phil Spencer said Control's coming to Game Pass, and Control tweeted out not very long after that, or Remedy or whatever. They're like, we have nothing to announce at this time about Control coming to Game Pass. Well, a year later, Control's in Game Pass. It may have taken a year,
Phil
over a year
Spencer's
from launch,
prophecies. Phil Spencer's prophecies always come true.
but right.
He slipped
But
up, but we got it.
it's in here. And another game that's in Game Pass now. We saw Doom Eternal enter Game Pass last month, so people who didn't buy the game, they could jump in their Game Pass subscription on console and they could play Doom Eternal. But now Doom Eternal is also available on PC
Ooh,
as well.
yes, that's where I'm gonna go, dude. I didn't play that too.
Yeah, dude. Play
There's
Doom
just
Eternal
so
on your
much.
PC. It's Game
There's
Pass.
so
I
much
know, right?
games to play. It's crazy. It's like I want to take my time with what I'm playing right now, with Shadow of War, but it's like I don't want to miss out on everything because it's like I felt like I missed out on so many already, so many great games, and it's like I don't want to just give this opportunity up. Well, Doom Eternal's leaving Game Pass because of it first party now, but there's just so
Yeah,
many
it
games
won't
I just don't
leave.
want to miss out on them. But
I'd
I like
say
taking
first
it.
party games you could wait a little bit, jump on as soon as possible. Don't know how long they're going to be in there. Like Control, for instance.
Yeah,
So they have Doom Eternal, bombastic first-person shooter. It's a Game of the Year contender. That's in Game Pass for PC and Game Pass for console. Probably Android at 1.2. We got Control. That was a good, like, story-based third-person action adventure game that's now in there. When we talk about some indie games that have come to Game Pass and are coming to Game Pass this month, you got games like Haven. Call of the Sea's coming day one, and that's a big one. Like, Call of the Sea sounds really good for indie title, and it's just you get stuff coming to console, you get stuff coming to Android, you get stuff coming to PC, and now we even have stuff coming with enhancements or optimizations for the new consoles. Like, you got Dragon Quest. It's the first time Dragon Quest is available on an Xbox console at all. It's in Game Pass, and it has an the X and S optimization. So Game Pass is a good place for
you
you
cut out
because
again, dude. I don't know if it's or what's with Discord or if it's on my end,
no, I just
but
paused when I was talking for a second.
okay, yeah, because it's not capturing you, so on OBS it doesn't it cuts you out, so I don't know, but I also can't. It cuts you out on. I don't know if it's my end of Discord or your end, but you seem good now.
I don't know. It's embarrassing. A little bit of technical difficulties, but we're good. We'll keep on going with the
Just
topics.
keep on going. Yep.
Anyways, I was just pretty much saying Dragon Quest, first time ever JRPG available this JRPG is available on an Xbox console, and people who love JRPGs, Game Pass is the place for you because there's JRPGs coming to Game Pass. Like, we've seen it over the past year and a half. Like, a good amount of JRPGs have jumped in, and even Japanese style games, like Yakuza franchise, they've come in, like Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts is now in Game Pass. Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, Game Pass is a good place to be. So we got games like Rage 2 jumping in. You know, Rage 2 was a game that came out last year, spring of last year. It's finally here, in Game Pass. So if you were, you know, thinking about playing Rage 2, interested in Rage 2, go ahead and jump in it, as well as Ukulele. Like that game, people who want a game like that, Ukulele is a little different, but it's
It
like
Game Pass has a game for everyone. If you are a gamer, it doesn't matter what game you like to play, you need Game Pass because it will
yeah.
have a game for you no matter what.
Oh, it will. So this game Ukulele is like Banjo Kazooie, and if you are wanting a new Banjo Kazooie, why don't you try out Ukulele, right? So these are some awesome games coming into Game Pass this month, and there could be more news of the VGAs. We don't know. This is all that's announced so far, but that's what's coming.
Oh
What do
well,
you think?
we'll have the show for next week on for the VGAs. But yeah, there's Control, like Doom Eternal coming to PC. Definitely gonna get on that action. Heck yes, my PC is where I like to play now because that's where I got the power. So, and I've been wanting to play Doom Eternal and Doom 2016. Do you know if is Doom 2016 on PC? Do you know?
I think it's just in Game Pass for console, and that's it. But
That's
they
all right.
did release PC. You'd have to buy it.
I'll play it on my console. Yeah, that's as much as I would like to play it on my PC. It's an old enough game where I think the 1S is it'll be good enough. It'll be good. It'll be a lot of fun. There's just so many games to play, and Game Pass just gives you so much more options. It's insane. It's like I don't have enough time to play all these games I want to play, and gotta choose carefully. Is that it? Is that all the games that are playing?
Well, that's all the games that are coming to Game Pass for December that we know of now. But there are some games that are leaving that we know about. Like, I mean,
what's
mainly
leaving?
There's a couple games leaving. One of them is the Untitled Goose Game, and it's leaving this month. Remember that game was like,
sad.
yeah, dude, that was an indie game that dropped last year. That actually got a lot of praise, and it was funny, and people loved it. And it joined Game Pass about a year ago, and it's been Game Pass for about a year, and it's now leaving. So that's really the main one. The other ones are smaller. Like this one's smaller, but actually got some traction when it came to like trending and stuff. But the other ones are smaller. They're not as important, I would say. But
as
that was
big,
the one. Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Say they may be important for some people. They're just not as well known or as big. Say that.
Yeah, it's true. But you've been wanting to play that, right? You've heard about it and wanting to play it.
Untitled Goose Game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched videos on it. It seems so much fun. A short little one. When does that leave today, or when does that leave?
Well, they don't really say exactly when,
but it's leaving soon. So
yeah,
maybe I'll download that and kind of just play it and get through it. Play it quick because it's a smaller game. So
try it out. Yeah, they're not. It doesn't. It doesn't. They don't say when they're leaving yet.
It's just leaving soon, so you better get on it and play it. That's what I better do.
Exactly.
What else?
Anyway, the other topics we got are Bioware. Bioware's having a little bit of what seems like turmoil in their company. I mean, we've seen it for years and years. Mass Effect Andromeda, and then the whole Anthem thing, and there's supposed to be an Anthem 2.0, which is like revamping Anthem and the movement and everything. But BioWare used to be a massively like, it was a great company. People loved BioWare. Nowadays, BioWare is not seen the same, not even seen the same as they used to be seen. But two leads actually left the studio this December, like, and it's not looking super great. But we have Casey Hudson, general manager, he's the general manager of the whole company of BioWare, like the studio.
That's
He
crazy.
left. Yeah,
Is
and
he the
Mark.
one that left before, came back, and then left again? And now
Yeah,
decided to leave
he
again?
left. He
Yeah, that's
left, came
not a
back
good
in
look.
2017.
It's sad. It's not looking good for Bioware, and I wonder what's gonna happen. And if they
Yeah, I
shut them
wonder
down,
too.
what's
But
gonna happen if any other studio is gonna buy their IPs and try to revive them? I hate to see a studio die, especially one that used to be so well beloved. But with the past two, Andromeda and Anthem, they've been going downhill, and who knows if they owned by EA, right?
yeah, EA
Yeah, I
owns
don't
BioWare.
know if EA is gonna keep them around for much longer, or what's gonna happen. Who knows?
I don't know.
Maybe Xbox will buy them. They're looking
That would be pretty
they're looking
cool.
for some purchases, so we'll see. It's sad. I
Happened with
You won't like to
BioWare,
see
but
it, but we'll just keep a close ear, and we just got to see what happens with them. Hope they stay alive. Hope they make a comeback. That would be awesome to see them come back.
yeah, it would.
But it's not looking good for BioWare.
It's not. The other person that left was Mark Dara, an executive producer on the game Dragon Age, which is their main game. They're apparently working on Dragon Age 4, right?
I gotta play Dragon Age. That
Yeah.
looks in my aisle. Looks to be in my aisle. That is just
So, executive studio producer is leaving, as well as the general managers, and they both say, in quote, "It's not an easy decision to make, and big changes always come with a certain degree of sadness." But they just say they need to move on. Paraphrasing, they need to move on. There's some more exciting projects that they can be involved in. It's just a sugar-coated way to say they can't say it out. To me, what it seems like is just sugarcoating. They can't say it like outright. Be like, "Oh, there's turmoil in the company, and I don't want to work here anymore because the company I love is being driven into the ground by EA and their practices when it comes to what EA wants for their games." Like, BioWare you have to do what the publisher says, right? Because they're the one that published your game. But that's honestly, like, it seems sugarcoating to me. And when you have Casey Hudson leaving, and then coming back in 2017 after Andromeda was already done and everything and already shipped and released. And then you got Casey Hudson says he's going to turn the ship around. He's going to make the company better again. And then you get Anthem 2.0. I mean, not Anthem 2.0, Anthem, which needs a 2.0 because it couldn't keep up, because it just wasn't that great of a game, especially when it came to like movement and stuff. But then you have them leaving. What do you think?
I kind of said what I thought. It doesn't look good. You have two people leaving at high positions at the same time, and especially somebody that already left before came back and is now leaving again. It's like he really just doesn't want to be there, and there's got to be good reasons for that. Like, he tried to come back, and now he's just gone again. I don't know. Like I said, it's sad to see, but it's not looking good for BioWare.
No,
Like to
it's
see
not.
a developer, especially one that was so beloved, fall to the ground because of a publisher's. They're under a publisher's boot, and they gotta do what the publisher says, and their publisher's running them to the ground. That's way I see. That's what I think, but
Well, it's been confirmed that Dragon Age 4 is in development, and it doesn't have an estimated release window. It doesn't have targeted launch platforms. There's not really much we know about it. It's just confirmed that Dragon Age 4 is in development, and that game, people don't want to see Dragon Age franchise be, they want to see it be as best as it could be. And Dragon Age 4, through the development, just doesn't seem like it's turning out to be the game that the fans want. And I think, honestly, that's why these leads are leaving. I think they're not happy with the product. They're not happy with what's happening in their studios. And it's like, you could blame them for it. Well, it's your studio. Like, you're an executive producer or a general manager of a studio. Well, it's like, we got EA breathing down our necks, telling us what we can and can't do.
Yeah, there's only so much control you even have as a head of a studio when you're owned by a publisher, especially a publisher like EA. The Evil
Yeah,
Empire, they don't get that name for no reason.
exactly. Well, that was that topic, and honestly, I could talk about each of these topics longer, but this show is going to be an hour and a half long today, and we still have two more topics, and the last topic's a banger. So
Yeah, let's get into the next one, bro. What do we got?
we got the Halo Infinite talk, dude. When you got we had a couple weeks back, we had 343 telling us through a post that there would be some end of year news for Halo Infinite, and that to look forward to it in a few weeks. Like, and we've been waiting and waiting. Okay, what's happening with Halo Infinite? We haven't heard much since it was delayed. We want to know what's going on with it. It doesn't even have a release date right now. Well, now some of that has changed. Like, we know a little more than we did before. There's some talk, like, by 343 on Halo Waypoint, they posted a blog post called Inside Infinite, and this was the other day. It was yesterday. And they're talking about the release date, which there's Joseph Staten. You know, if people don't know, Joseph Staten worked on Halo 1, 2, 3, ODST, and Reach. He worked with Bungie, and then he left. He left to go with Bungie. He stayed with Bungie at the time being. He stayed with Bungie, and he wasn't part of 343 Industries. He didn't have anything to do with Halo 4, Halo 5, but he recently came back to Microsoft in the last couple of years, but he didn't work at 343. And after the July debacle with Halo Infinite, Joseph Staten actually came back and is working on the project now. It was actually Stan Lee, or I can't remember his name actually, but someone actually kind of got the boot. But he his position got taken over, and he was still part of the company, and then he ended up leaving. And this was some news a couple weeks ago. It was Chrisley. Chrisley, that was his name. He ended up leaving, so he doesn't even work for 343. Anyways, so we have Joseph Staten, who is now the not the lead, but he's just he's a creative director. That's what he is. He's a creative director of the game now, and that was Chris Lee's position, but it's not anymore. And he's talking about the game, and he says, "This is." I'll do a quote from him. He says, "It's my honor as creative director to help our team ship Halo Infinite in fall 2021." He says that, and then he says, "That's right. We're pushing hard to release it in fall 2021." He says, "Yes, the release date will be fall 2021." So that's what it is. That's the release date. That's the biggest news we got out of this news drop. What do you think about the release date?
Well, from everything else about it, about what they've said is the game's completed, pretty much completed. We've heard all the critiques and everything about it. We're just trying to polish it, get the graphics looking up to date and good and detailed. So this kind of gives me a little more confidence in it, you know, and I think fall 2021. It's a whole year of just polishing. I think that's good, and especially if they release it, which fall 2021 would be. Fall is the Halo anniversary, right? Or when's the Halo anniversary?
November 15th,
Could
2021 will hit
could
20
very well
year
be.
anniversary.
could very well be 20-year anniversary.
I think it actually might be.
Imagine the 20-year anniversary, Halo Infinite dropping on the 20-year anniversary of Halo.
Oh, it's a 10-year game.
And a 10-year game. Oh,
yeah, that's what they're calling it.
I actually kind of like that idea of you have a story, you have Halo Infinite releasing it, and they just constantly push. It's like so many people love Destiny, and that's kind of like the approach that they've been doing. It's like you have Destiny, and they're just constantly putting more onto it, DLC or extra story, and expanding the story to it. And I kind of like that idea because it's constant progression through it, and you'll have the constant player base. I don't know if it'll ever fall off drastically like every other Halo or Halo game does, and I'm more confident in it now from what the news that just came out than I was before, because from when we didn't know anything and they canceled it indefinitely, or they didn't cancel it, they delayed it indefinitely, and then we didn't know when or what was going on with it. From the information they released, it gives me more confidence, but they still got to deliver on like every single front. Yeah, they have a year to get the graphics and everything up to snuff and better looking. But if the story and if the multiplayer and all those other aspects aren't good enough, because the people are going to be critiquing this game like no other.
It's true.
They have to hit on every point.
All cylinders.
They have to hit it on every point. And I'm more confident, but I just gotta wait to see more that comes down, more news. But it's looking good, exciting. It would be awesome to have it released on the 20-year anniversary of Halo. But what about you, bro? What do you think?
I think that would be really awesome for that date, and I think the extra year could really help. I'm in a different position as you. I don't think that they're going to keep on adding more onto it. I think the customization wasn't where they wanted. The art style still needed work, and I think a bunch of graphical effects. Obviously, we saw Craig. We saw what happened with the game. Graphical effects. They even and they talk about that. They talk about that in this blog post about graphical effects. I could read you all the blog posts. I won't, but we'll talk about it. It's just the game. It obviously needed more polish and more time, and it needed someone else leading the development. Someone who could be like, I can make things happen.
You're cutting out like really bad. I don't know if you want to like leave the call and just come back in. I don't know. I'm getting like my end is like really bad. It seems it's the connection with YouTube and OBS is. Yeah, you back?
Okay, I'm back.
All right. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that works and helps. Sorry about that. Sorry about technical difficulties. Everybody, my internet's not the greatest. Trying to run everything along with everyone else that's on my internet. So, but go ahead, go back to it. Get back to it.
Well, anyways, I was just saying with the whole Inside Infinite post and where I think the game was at compared to where some people say it was at, and that it's not just a bunch of polish they need. I mean, in a way, yes. We got the story in the gameplay, and it seemed really good, and it seemed like I'm pretty sure they're mostly done with that, and the mocap is done as far as we can tell. There was a mocap actor who actually said, I'm pretty sure I'm done with mocap and the game could be coming out in spring. And yeah, it doesn't look like it is coming out in spring. I mean, mocap's not going to know as much as the leads, like Joseph Staten's creative director. He'd know more. And they're saying fall 2021, and who knows? Maybe they're saying that as like that's going to be the latest, and it could come out earlier, but they don't want to tell people that because like they don't want to get people excited, and then like they don't want to tell someone February, March, and get someone excited and then have it delayed again. They don't want that. So if they say fall 2021, it could come out earlier. I honestly think it'll be 20th year anniversary. I hope it is because I want that extra year. And even though I really want to play Halo Infinite and give me time to grind to 152 and Halo 5 and play some Halo MCC while it's still hot, but let's talk about what they exactly said when it came to art and graphics update, and then I'll ask you what you think about that. But pretty much they're saying that certain aesthetics weren't in the game, certain things weren't in the game that should have been, like in the build that they showed in July, that they didn't have the visual fidelity in mind, like there, that should have been there. And like, let's talk about Craig. The animations, they say they put on standard animations for all the enemies at first, and then they go and tweak each one because it's easier to just have everyone have the same standard animation with lifeless animation that they can just put on everyone, and then they can go in after the fact and they can tweak people's animation. I mean, the facial animations, they could tweak people's looks, like the face and all that, like, and make it. They could put up beards on not grunts. They could put beards on brutes, and they could add like cool looking effects on Spartans' armors, but whatever it is, right? And then they also did talk about the pop in and like the clouds popping in and out, and they said that they weren't running, they aren't running VRS in that. They didn't have variable rate shading. They didn't even have VSS, VRR. They didn't even have VRR, the variable refresh rate. They didn't have that in the build. It wasn't a thing. Like, they have so many things that weren't in the build that should have been. Like the dynamic night and day, like they didn't have that. They didn't have global illumination. They didn't. I mean, they had it to a point, but there's a lot of these that just weren't very good. Like key areas, global illumination, ambient occlusion, shadows, volumetric lighting, sky and atmosphere. They just weren't up to par. And then when you had popping and texture quality issues, it's just not up to par. And they know this, and they're finally talking about it. They're finally saying, we know it wasn't up to par. We delayed the game. We're working on those things that the community said, hey, this is not good. Like, why are you showing a game that looks like crap? And they say, like, it's humbling. It's humbling to hear this from our community. And yes, we got to do better, and we're going to do better. And when you look at things like effects and animations, lightings and weapons, the graphics and the art style mainly was the complaint. Like, and a lot of it just is the build wasn't good. Like, it wasn't up to snuff. Like, the build didn't have these key features because they were mainly focusing on gameplay and story, and on the gameplay aspect of that demo, and we were of the July demo, and we were mainly focusing on story beats, and that was what really mattered at the time to us. We wanted to do that, and we just lost sight of making sure, like, and we didn't have the time to make sure that environment, lighting,
So I wonder,
contrast.
do you think if they never would have showed that gameplay, if they're like, if they looked at it beforehand and be like, oh, this isn't good enough, do you think they would have done everything they've done and learned everything they've learned from the feedback of the community? If they never would have shown that, and they looked at that, if somebody looked at that first off and been like, we can't show this looks like garbage, do you think they would have done as much to fix that and done, or would have just been released already?
I don't think it would have been released. Okay, they were they had to have shown it before release date sometime, and they were going to show things with it, and if people didn't like it, they were going to say it, right? So it was going to happen eventually
yeah.
anyways, right? But it wouldn't have panned out the same way it did, obviously. Like, and even if someone internally was like, "Yeah, we're not showing that off.
Craig would
What are
not
you guys
have been
doing?"
born.
Craig wouldn't have been born, that's for sure. But they still a delay probably still would have happened. Like it was, the writing was on the wall, dude. I mean, we couldn't see it because they weren't telling us anything and they weren't showing us anything. But the moment they did tell us stuff and show us stuff, we saw it. So the writing was on the wall that the game just wasn't up to snuff. It wasn't done. It needed more time. It had to be delayed. We'd be playing the game right now and we'd be playing an unfinished build, right? And then it would have got tanked on Metacritic, and people, and they don't want that for Halo. I don't want that for Halo. I want Halo
Oh
to
no.
be its best.
Nobody wants that for Halo. Well, some people do, which is sad and devastating, but
Jez.
no,
Jez.
Jez. Why would you want Halo to fail? So
Right?
mean.
uh, but yeah, that's when it comes to Halo Infinite, it's a very divisive game. Like when it comes to the development, we haven't played the game obviously, and the game hasn't been rated or anything, and people don't know much about it. But when it comes to the development of Halo Infinite, it's like very divisive. People have a lot to say about it, and there's always some rumor coming out. There's always rumors coming out about Halo Infinite, like, oh, the game isn't gonna come till 2023. The game, the game may never get done. It's stuck in development hell. It's like and a lot of it, who knows? Like, but the thing is, I do have faith, especially after this update where they talk about, they show pictures. They showed pictures, like, and it looks like screenshots. And I hope it's screenshots and they're good fidelity. Like, they showed a picture of a map. I mean, granted, there's only one section, like, it's only a still frame picture, but they even say this is a map in our multiplayer. Like, they show armor sets. They've shown a lot of stuff. Like, they're showing what they call for their armor sets and customization, they're doing it differently, right?
Yeah.
And they're showing that, and then they're telling some things about it. So it's
They need
not
to be a little more, and that's good. Especially this release that shows that they're being a little more open with the development and what's going on, and they need to be. They need the community feedback, or
right.
it's not going to turn out to be what they need it to be.
So if anyone's listening and they're wanting to know more about, like, oh, I want to know more about Halo Infinite, there's a news drop. I didn't know there was a drop, and you're hearing us talk about this. I'd say go to Halo Waypoint and go look at this blog post. Like, it's called Inside Infinite, and it's blog post for December 7th. No, not December 7th. It was December 8th. December 8th, and it talks a lot about it. It talks about the road ahead when it comes to multiplayer. It talks about single player, and it talks about what went wrong in the July showcase. And they're talking about things called armor coatings, where it's a little bit different. They're doing customization different, and how the free to play aspect is going to. There's no loot box. They said it. They've said it numerous times that there's not going to be loot boxes in the game. Loot box is not a thing. There are no pay to win aspects of this game. So it's all in customization. They're going to do a bunch in customization, and there's some cool looking customization. Granted, they're changing the way you do. They're not doing the primary and secondary colors anymore. That's not a scheme they're doing. They're doing what they're calling armor coatings, which is going to be a design
That's
that
cool.
you can earn or buy, but you don't get to choose your color per se, which I think they should do both, honestly. I think you should always be able to choose your color, and you could use armor coatings, but they're not doing primary, secondary colors.
Well, to a point, because they could do some cool things with armor coatings and not having you be able to choose and change the color.
Yeah, they could, and there's going to be hundreds of armor coating, but
That's exciting. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And it's great news to hear for anybody who is devastated or worried about Halo Infinite. It's kind of like a nice breather, a nice breath to take a step back. You can not be so worried and not we're in the know a little bit more about what's going on with the development in the game, and you don't have to worry about it and think, oh, I don't know about Halo Infinite, it's gonna fail, or when's it even coming out, and all these questions. It's shines a little more light on shit, and it's good. And they need to be a little more open about the process and what's going on with development in Halo Infinite, in my opinion.
Yes, they need to be as open as possible, get community feedback, and they say they're actually going to do flighting. So flighting was a thing they talked about before, where they say back in 2019 they're like, there's going to be flighting for this game. 2020 hits, and guess what? There wasn't flighting, but it's because COVID. Now there's actually going to be flighting next year. We're just learning to work with COVID. They're just learning to work at home and develop with COVID, I guess, but there's going to be flighting now because of this. So flighting is probably a major factor of why it's pushed to fall too, so they can actually have people come in and start playing the game early. Granted, they're under NDA to be able, they can't talk about certain things, but to play the game early and to say, hey, 343, this is something I feel you could do better. This is something I feel you could do better. Like, there's bugs here, whatever, like it's going to make the game better overall.
Bro.
What's up?
Did you stop talking or did you cut out? Because I wasn't sure about that.
I stopped talking.
Okay. Alright. Is that everything you want? Everything on Halo? Everything you wanted to get to with Halo?
Yeah, it's everything I want to get to with Halo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Halo talk
Good
right
Halo
there.
news. It's good. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of the stream of the podcast.
Yeah, the last topic.
Last topic. And
but
the biggest one of all, VGAs.
The Video Game Awards are going to be here tomorrow.
VGAs tomorrow. And
do you want to go ahead with what you think is going to happen, or do you want to? Do you want to talk?
I don't know, like, what's gonna happen. Is like what the show is 4 hours long, and other than it's like we can go into okay, what do we think Xbox is gonna show,
or PlayStation,
or Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and I think they're all gonna show anything. It's like Xbox started a big thing last year in the Game Awards. They revealed their console, and that's huge. And they also showed off Hellblade, and I think it would be really awesome if they showed off even more of Hellblade. Like, just thinking about that gets me so excited. I hope that happens with Xbox. I hope they show more of Hellblade 2. PlayStation.
That would be really cool.
I don't know enough about PlayStation. I don't know enough about what's going on with PlayStation to be able to predict what they're going to show. And Nintendo, I'm in the same boat there. I'm clueless on what could possibly Nintendo or PlayStation could possibly show, and even kind of Xbox.
So, I have a question for you right here. So we saw hardware being showed at the VGAs. It's never happened before. We saw the Series X, revealed at the VGAs. Do you think any other company took notes? Sony's not going to show another console. They released a console. There have been rumors about Nintendo.
Ooh, maybe Switch Pro.
There have been rumors that Nintendo is working on a Switch Pro. What if they show off a Switch Pro? I honestly don't think they will. I honestly don't even think Nintendo's even really going to be there, right?
Yeah.
Besides, they could win an award with Animal Crossing, but honestly don't really think that they're going to be there. But that was a thought that came to my mind. That would be pretty crazy if we did get a Switch Pro at the Game Awards, reveal.
That would be cool. That would be pretty cool. I don't know though. Like you said, I don't know if they would, or if it's even ready for them to. But having another console would be freaking awesome. I am so excited for the VGAs. Last year
Well, I'm
was.
excited to see what happened. Last year was dope, dude. I loved seeing the Series X. That commercial, I can still go back and watch it. It makes me
Oh yeah, I
excited, even
can
though the
too.
consoles are here.
Even though they're already out. It's crazy to
Yeah,
think about that. It's a year ago. A year ago.
I
That's
know it's
insane.
2020, and I was so excited to play Halo Infinite, and I'm not playing it because it's not out.
Well, it's in another year, less than a year, hopefully, if it's fall,
Yeah,
and it'll come by so quickly. Time
exactly.
flies by, but
You, you don't have any predictions per se, of what's gonna go on.
uh, games will get awards. I don't know.
Yeah, that's not what I
They'll
meant. We're not talking about games getting awards. We're talking about things being shown off.
I I don't know enough. Like the only thing I could think of and that I kind of want would be Hellblade 2. Another
Yeah,
trailer
that
for Hellblade 2.
I do agree with you on that. Crazy me.
Maybe the initiative. What's going on with the
Ooh,
initiative?
yeah, there's Perfect Dark rumors or Perfect Dark-esque
Maybe we'll
game.
finally be able to see what they're working on.
Maybe. I mean, Aaron Greenberg did say to tamper expectations, so we don't know.
Yeah.
It could be nothing. It could be
But
anything in
compared
the
to
world. We
last
don't.
year, that was crazy. So I don't know.
Yeah. So I honestly don't know what's gonna happen, but I do have some predictions. Like, I have a couple predictions. I think Ratchet and Clank might be shown. Who knows? Like, that's the game that a little bit of shown in that June showcase for
Do you think they'll
PlayStation,
show
but
the release date? You had got a release date
yeah,
already, or
I
what?
think that they will show some gameplay, maybe a trailer, or maybe just a trailer, maybe both gameplay and trailer. I don't know, but I think they'll show something with Ratchet and Clank, and I think they will show out. They'll name the release date, like, "Hey, this is when it's coming out." Like, I think we're into COVID enough where these companies are realizing what they can and can't do, and like they're they're getting the feel for how they're working on things in a different environment, a home environment. That I honestly do think that Sony could show off Ratchet and Clank with a release date tomorrow at the VGAs.
That that'd be pretty cool. Anything else from PlayStation? I don't know a whole lot what's going on. I don't know what's going on with PlayStation. What games they have down really down the pipeline besides like Ratchet and Clank. Uh,
Well, I know what could be shown. Obviously, when I'm thinking about games for PlayStation, I think of three main games that we know is Ratchet and Clank, Horizon Zero Dawn,
Horizon Zero
Forbidden
Dawn,
West.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's one thing I want to see. More gameplay and see more about Horizon Zero Dawn. That would be. I loved Horizon Zero Dawn, the first one. Then I'm excited for the second one.
Yeah. So we got that game, which Crazy Mate just said it right here. He loves Horizon Zero Dawn. He may not be a big PlayStation fan because he has never owned his own PlayStation, but he did borrow my PlayStation 4, and he put a good amount of hours in that game. And I still haven't finished that game because there were certain aspects that I didn't like. I do like the game. I need to get back to it, but I still have not finished Horizon Zero Dawn. He has. He's excited for it. They could show it tomorrow. I honestly don't think they will. I think that they will save that for one of their own showcases, but maybe they will. I don't know. It's a 4-hour show, and what's all in the 4 hours? It's not like all of these nominees,
Oh no, that
the
definitely not.
awards, and the awards are going to be like over a 4-hour span. It's like, oh, it takes 4 hours to announce who wins the game of the year. If they don't have like commercials in between, which they will, it's the VGAs, or they don't have announcements, things being shown off and talked about that aren't just the game of the year or the awards when it comes to like game direction, narrative and the different esports, things. But we're talking about predictions right now. We're going to get into the nominees and who we think will win and what we think will win in certain categories. We're
What
going to
we
get into
want to
that.
win.
Yeah. We're going to get into that in a little bit, but right now we're just talking about what we think's going to happen, and there's a couple key things we need to talk about. But on predictions of stuff that I think personally will happen, or I have thoughts about what could happen. But we have another game of PlayStation's is God of War Ragnarok. They teased God of War Ragnarok with a 2021 release date. We could see something there tomorrow. I don't think we will again. I think that game's the farthest one out of the three. When you think of Ratchet and Clank, when you think of Horizon Zero Dawn, Forbidden West, and when we think of God of War Ragnarok, I honestly think Ragnarok's the farthest one out. So I'm not sure we're going to even. They say 2021. I think it might end up being 2022, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But that is another thing we could see from PlayStation. So with these three games, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? When do you think we'll learn more about these games? When do you think they will be released?
See, I could I have no idea, but at least one of them they've got to show. I think it's like the
Well, which one?
BGAs are starting to get so big that it would just behoove me that it wouldn't show any of those. Like God of War, maybe if God of War is sooner is going to be here sooner, then I think they're going to show that. I think they might show that. But personally, I want to see Horizon Zero Dawn. That's the one I
That
want
is a
to see.
personal thing.
That's personal. But
What about Ratchet and Clank? Do you think they'll show Ratchet and Clank?
that's close. That's so close. They've already shown it that I think they will. Maybe who
Yeah.
knows? Maybe they'll release a new game or show off a new game that they're working on.
Ooh, I have thoughts on that, but here's what I think. I think Ratchet and Clank is the soonest one to come out, and I think it's going to come out in spring of 2021. Um, and I honestly think they will show it tomorrow with the release date. That's my prediction. I could be completely wrong, off the ball, off the mark, but I honestly think that Ratchet and Clank will be shown more of it. I think more gameplay. Like it's got to be. They got to show off the SSD tech, right? More gameplay and then a release date and maybe a trailer before the gameplay, but I honestly think that's going to happen. I don't think we'll see Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West. I honestly don't. I think that game's anywhere from summer to fall, anywhere from mid to late 2021. I think that will come out, and they say 2021 on Ragnarok. I honestly don't think Ragnarok's going to come out in 2021. I think it's going to be a spring 2022 release, and I don't think we'll see anything tomorrow with God of War Ragnarok. So, but you did mention something crazy, mate, bro. You mentioned that a new game they could show. So, what is a new game PlayStation could show? What do you think?
Oh, I have no clue about that.
I do.
What about a studio? Even if they've like
Studio acquisition,
studio
possibly.
acquisition could be possible as well. But I don't the VGAs. I don't think that's really a place for studio acquisitions, though. To be honest, it's
Me
more
neither.
studio acquisitions is more towards the hardcore, you know, to show the hardcore and stuff. To keep, but a lot of casuals tune into the VGAs and they want to see games, and so
Right.
they'll show them future games, what's happening. I honestly couldn't tell you. I would have no idea what new game they'd possibly be working on.
Here's what I think will be shown, and I've been speculating this for months. I thought it would be shown at PlayStation Showcase when they did it. What was it, September or whatever? They had that showcase. I thought it was going to be then. It wasn't. I honestly think and hope, I'm hoping for this Silent Hill reboot or at least remasters, right?
Ooh, yeah, yeah.
I really want to see Silent Hill come back in a big way, and I don't even if it's a PlayStation exclusive. I would buy a PlayStation 5 for Silent Hill. Honestly, I promise you, I would.
Yeah, and then I'd just be able to borrow it from you, so I'm
Right.
covered.
No, though, like that's. What do you think? What do you think about Silent Hill? What do you think? Do you think they'll show it tomorrow?
I like horror games. That would be awesome. I don't know though because I don't know much about Silent Hill or a lot of PlayStation history of a lot of the games that they've got in the back burner or whatever that of IP they have.
So
I
I
like
don't think
horror
Sony owns
games,
it.
but I like horror games, and so that would be awesome.
Yeah. I don't think Sony owns Silent Hill IP, to be honest, bro. I think, as far as I know, Konami owns it, and Konami might let a different studio, if PlayStation pays them, which I think is going to happen. I think this is. I hope I see it tomorrow. I really do. That would be one of my highlights of the show. But um, I think PlayStation pays Konami to say, hey, we can have Kojima Studios, whatever Kojima Productions, we can have them make the game. You don't even really have to be involved. You're just pretty much letting us borrow the IP for this chunk of money, right? Um,
Yeah.
and we're going to release this game, and we're going to be the mediator so that Kojima doesn't even have to talk to Konami at all, because we know Konami and Kojima, they had a falling out years ago. Remember this? When it came to um Metal Gear Solid, they had a falling out, right?
Yeah.
So, do you think it's a possibility that Konami allows, like PlayStation, buys the rights to be able to make another Silent Hill game through
I don't
one of their?
know. I don't know. It could be possible, but I don't know, dude. Hopefully, I mean, I always want to see old games that or have reboots or remasters, so to come up to this try to find wording for this, but to come up to date, basically, in graphics, gameplay, and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I don't
I
know,
I couldn't.
honestly.
I don't know enough, so I couldn't tell you honestly. But
I'm hoping. That's all I can say is I really do hope that we see Silent Hill tomorrow at the Game Awards, because that would be a reason to buy a PlayStation 5 if it was exclusive to PlayStation 5. If not, I'd probably just play it on PlayStation 4. But um, I really I want to play the Silent Hill games. I've never played them, but they sound so interesting to me. I'm so into psychological. When you talk about horror with me, and I could be like, oh, I love Resident Evil. I've only played one of them, to be honest, but I love Resident Evil, and I want to play more Resident
I
Evils.
just
But it's still a survival horror game and not a psychological horror game, which is my favorite.
I just finished Outlast with my girlfriend, and that is a lot of fun. I like
Was that
that.
Outlast 1 or 2?
The first one, Outlast one.
Oh, you gonna play number 2?
I have it. Yep.
All right.
Plan on it.
Nope. Okay, well, that was some game predictions we have for the show. Like me and Crazy Man just talking bullshit about what we think is going to be at the VGAs when it comes to, new games shown. But there is one thing that has been announced that's going to be. There's an interview. Okay, I'm just going to say it straight out. There's an interview with Bill Spencer and Lisa Sue, or I can't remember her name. It's Lisa something, of AMD, with Jeff Keighley and another person. It was some some journalist, I think. But there's going to be an interview. And it's probably going to last about 15 to 20 minutes. There's going to be an interview with him. What do you think? What do you think it's going to be about? I don't think he's going to announce anything. I think he's just going to kind of talk about what's in store for gaming. But what do you think?
I think that they're going to try to sneak in a question about whether Bethesda's games are going to be exclusive to the Xbox platform.
You think that's what's going to happen?
They're going to try to. Because all interviewers try to do that. They try to
True,
get out of it,
that's
but
true.
he's like, I can't say anything. So, I am certain that's going to happen. But I don't know. I always like listening to the interviews.
Especially with Phil Spencer.
Especially with Phil Spencer. I really admire Phil Spencer. So, that's another thing that's exciting. Listen to an interview, what he has to say, what the questions are. But I'm not in the brain of the interview. I don't know what questions they have for him, so. But I do know, like I said, most likely they're going to ask whether or not Bethesda's games are going to be exclusive to the Xbox platform.
Yeah, probably, huh? That's probably going to be a question. I think the interview, I don't think there's going to be, like, tons to take from the interview. I think It's gonna be probably something they're gonna ask about Bethesda. But I think a lot of the things that they're gonna talk about is just like the tech in there. And I think they actually one thing I really think they're gonna bring up full RDNA 2 and what Lisa and Phil thinks that it's gonna turn out to be. And it's gonna be they think that it could really help developers as well as, you know, big part of RDNA 2 is VRS, variable rate shading. What it does, if you think about a globe and there's side of the globe you can't see because you're in front of the globe, that in game development now, that's being rendered and that's part of the RAM package, even though it's not seen because they have to have it there just in case the globe gets turned, right? Or you
Yes.
move to the other side. Well, with VRS, variable rate shading, it's a technique where it doesn't load that part of the globe in because it's not part of the screen, right? It's not
It's
part of
very
what
low
you see.
resolution. It's not loading, and they've kind of
It's only
already.
loading what you see.
Yes, it's only loading at high res what you see, and everything else that's covered. Even though it's there, it's the resolution is it
It
isn't
could be his flow is
high
like 240p.
definition. Yeah, yeah, and you're never gonna see it. You're not gonna know, and that frees up a lot of resources for to make games look more detailed and better.
The thing is, but as far as I know, PlayStation 5 doesn't have VRS because that was a feature. They didn't wait for that feature. That was a part of RDNA 2 feature set they didn't wait for. So I think that Lisa and Phil are going to talk about RDNA 2 and what the future of gaming is like. And I think they're going to talk about what they think is important with next gen. And I think it's going to be a lot of the same in certain aspects where Phil Spencer says cloud gaming, games going to PC, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. We see great numbers with Game Pass, and what we see is they're trying, and even you see the CEO, Satya Nadella, you saw him talking about it. He's like, hey, in an investor call, it was literally like, the dude's like, what can you do? Or what do you think Xbox can do to compete with PlayStation 5? Or do you think Xbox and versus PlayStation 5, what do you think, like, what are you going to do to be able to compete with PlayStation 5? And he didn't even, the thing is, Satya Nadella didn't even talk about PlayStation 5 really. He just said, well, we're going to continue to do what we're doing. And you see Game Pass growing. And we're trying to hit 3 billion gamers because that number's turned up this whole year. They're talking 2 billion gamers in the world at the beginning of the year. Now they're talking 3 billion gamers in the world. But the thing is, it's not, people are like, oh, they're gonna hit 3 billion gamers. They can't even sell 50 million consoles. I think the Xbox One did sell 50 million, but that's just me. But that's not the thing. It's over years
Well,
and
that's the
years and
thing.
years.
People are ignorant. They don't need consoles to access
Exactly.
to access gamers. They've got Game Pass and they've got the cloud. Sony
Yeah.
needs consoles. They're a
Exactly.
hardware-based company. They need the console until they get the technology and the infrastructure that Xbox has because of Microsoft. They have this. They don't have the amount of reach and potential that Xbox does through the
When it
cloud.
comes to the cloud at this moment.
Yes, because of the console business, the console consumer is so minute. It's so small compared to how many gamers are out there. How many phones are out there? How many people have phones?
Right.
Everybody has a phone. And be able to access Game Pass on your phone flawlessly, that's
Or even just a
huge.
computer if you don't want to buy a console, like, or even just a TV, a
Exactly.
smart TV.
Just a smart TV, a tablet, a phone, a computer, all this stuff. So much technology that they can access with Game Pass, and that's what they're trying to do. That's their approach.
Exactly. But I imagine you think that they're gonna talk about that, 3 billion
Yes,
gamers,
yeah.
that they're gonna talk about reaching the games instead of trying to get the gamers to come where the games are, their games have been lacking, especially this gen. Instead of trying to get gamers to come buy an Xbox to play Halo 5 Guardians or the next Halo game, it's Infinite in this case, right? Instead, they're no, we're going to bring the game Halo Infinite to the gamers, right? Because the strategy doesn't work anymore of bringing the gamers to your game. You have to bring the game to the gamers. Why do you think so many people play Fortnite? Why do you think so many people play Warzone? It's free. it can be played on almost anything, right? It's like,
And it's free. It's a free to play,
yeah,
and they make so much money off of it too.
exactly. What they're doing is they're bringing the game to gamers. They're saying, hey, here's the game. We're putting it out here. It's for you guys. You guys play it. Instead of, hey, come to us to play a game.
Yeah, and there's so much more depth and detail to it too, because you have transactions or DLC in games, and if your game is on PlayStation platform and an Xbox platform, on Xbox and PlayStation, the DLC or any microtransactions that they buy in the game, PlayStation and Xbox get a small cut of that. And
Exactly.
putting your game on Game Pass, putting it in front of everybody, and it's like, oh, it's free. I get to play it for free. It's kind of more enticing to be like, you're more willing to spend that little bit of money over time, and it's like some people don't realize how much money they end up spending on a game over time because it's free to play. They don't think about it. They'll spend a couple bucks here and there, and then over time it comes out to be much. And Xbox and PlayStation, they get a cut of that, and if it's on Game Pass, they're making money off of that. Xbox is making money off of microtransactions, buying DLC, and it's an ecosystem. Game Pass is an ecosystem, and they're trying to build it up and bring it out to everybody. And I believe it when Phil Spencer says that we're kind of already profitable off of it. And it's like people,
Yeah, it is
people's like,
sustainable.
yeah, we're already sustainable. People's like, how could that even be possible? You're giving free games and you're paying people to put their games on here. Yes, but where? And it's like, I also think of this. You think of like a TV station or a news station. How do they make money? Advertising. That's literally the only way how they make money is advertising. And if you have millions of people on this platform every day going through the ecosystem and having advertisers advertise their product on that platform, they are paying Xbox to do that. So they're getting money. It's a transfer of money. I can totally see how it's a lot more sustainable and profitable than, say, Netflix, where it's just the shows. You don't have any microtransactions through it. Yeah, you have advertises that goes along with it, that can go along with it, and merchandise, but that's with their own first party shows or whatever. But there's so much more engagement and depth to gaming than there is a TV show. You can get a whole lot more profit and money through gaming than you can through one game than you can through one TV show.
Right. It's true. And when you have microtransactions, that's a big thing with games. You don't have microtransactions. You stream tracks on Spotify or you stream shows on Netflix and you watch the show and you're done, right?
And the only monetization from that is merchandise, which
Merchandise.
Netflix doesn't get merchandise from, say, Friends. If Friends sells merchandise, Netflix doesn't get a cut of that. Because if it's just all it is it's on Netflix.
Now, when you talk about Netflix and Stranger Things, they're getting a cut of that merchandise.
Because of that it's made by Netflix. It's a Netflix original. And it goes through the same thing. It's like, even games can have that merchandise too. It can have
as well as in-game
purchases. Yes.
And gaming's just on a whole nother level. Yeah, I think the interview is going to be very interesting, just like I'm sure you think it's going to be really interesting.
I always love Phil Spencer's interviews, so yeah.
Yeah. We could talk about predictions of the video game awards, and we're going to keep talking about the VGAs. The show's been going on for a while, but we're actually going to keep it going for a little bit longer, because we want to talk about the nominees. We want to talk about what's been nominated for the VGAs in what categories, and I want to ask you who you think's going to win or what game you think's going to win. and I'm going to state what game I think is going to win.
Let's go through it. Let's start from the beginning.
I'm going to do Game of the Year last, but best game direction in this year, it's awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. So there's 5 games that have been nominated for best game direction. See the winner tomorrow night, but Final Fantasy VII Remake, shipped in parts, still have the second part's going to be coming out next year, but Ghost of Tsushima, that's a new IP from Sony that is it's hit the mark. Like, people love Ghost of Tsushima. Hades is a new indie game that's on Nintendo and I believe PlayStation, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it's just on Nintendo. But I know it's on Nintendo Switch.
Isn't it on PC? Is it not on PC?
PC. It's definitely on PC.
Yeah, I swear it was on PC.
People are loving Hades. Like, it's getting a lot of praise. Half-Life Alyx, that's also one that's been nominated for best game direction. And Half-Life Alyx, I do want to play that game because it's in VR. I've never really played VR besides like a couple experiences on my Gear VR, but that's something that seems very interesting. The last one being nominated for best game direction is The Last of Us Part 2. So out of these 5 games for best game direction, who do you think is going to win?
Best game direction. I have not played any of those games, so let's see.
But who do you think?
I mean, Hades is in a lot of these. I think it might be Ghosts, though. I think it might be Ghosts. There's a lot of controversy on, even with the critics, with The Last of Us Part 2.
Right.
And I think Ghost of Tsushima did so many things that are, like, so different and unique and innovative, and it's, like, it's a different experience than you would really get from a lot of games. I think it might be Ghost of Tsushima winning that one. What do you think?
Right. Well, I think for the best game direction, if I had to choose personally, I'd choose The Last of Us Part 2. But then again, that's the only game out of these. I want to play Ghost of Tsushima. I still do. I meant to play it when it came out, but I got so into The Last of Us Part 2, which I actually bought a little late. I played it in July instead of June. And then other things like the hype of Halo, which dropped off when it got delayed, and then the hype of the new consoles. I never got around to playing Ghost of Tsushima. I do want to play it, but if I had to pick, I'd pick The Last of Us Part 2, but obviously I haven't played them all. What I think is going to win the best game direction is actually Final Fantasy VII Remake, and here's why. I think that people love Final Fantasy VII, for one, people love that game. It's, like, massive. That's one of the best Final Fantasy VIIs when it comes to reception, especially fan reception. And I think the direction they went on this game, I think it stayed true to Final Fantasy VII original, but it enhanced it and made it better and different in a lot of ways. And I think a lot of people loved the direction that Final Fantasy VII Remake went. I think that it did the game justice and made it better. And I think people are super excited for the second part, And I honestly think this game is going to win best game direction.
All right. That's best game direction. I think it's going to be Ghost, and you think it's going to be
Final
Fantasy VII Remake. What's next?
Best narrative, okay? It says for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in the game, okay? So we have five people nominated. Five games nominated. Let's go through them. So 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. Okay, that's a game. I don't really know that game. I've never heard of it, to be honest.
I've never heard of it either.
Never heard of it. Final Fantasy VII Remake, another one nominated for Best Narrative. Ghost of Tsushima, another one nominated for Best Narrative. Hades, nominated. The Last of Us Part 2 is the last one. That's the 5th one. So these are Best Narrative. It says for outstanding storytelling, narrative development in a game. Who do you think is going to win Best Narrative?
I think it could be either Hades or Last of Us, but I'm going to go with The Last of Us Part 2 for that one.
Okay. Nice. And you haven't played any of these games?
I have not played any of these games. I've seen The Last of Us 1. I've watched gameplay on it. Watched maybe a little
But
bit of
not The Last of
gameplay
Us
on
Part
The
2.
Last of Us Part 2. I've
Yeah.
watched, I've watched a little bit on Ghost of Tsushima, but yeah, I haven't played these games, so I
Alright.
think it's going to be The Last of Us Part 2. That's what I think.
Okay, so as a best narrative game, again, the only one I've played out of these is The Last of Us Part 2. You can get into that when it comes to that game for me. I love the game. I don't think that that's going to win the best narrative. I honestly don't. I think it's going to be Ghost of Tsushima for best narrative.
Wow, we're the opposites on this, huh?
Yeah, seems like it, huh?
We'll see. We'll see. One of us could be right, or both of us could be dead wrong.
I mean, maybe it's Final Fantasy VII Remake. Who knows? I know. But I think that that's an old game. Well, it's not an old game. It's a new game with a story that isn't that much different than the original.
Yeah.
And I think Ghost of Tsushima being a new IP and people loving it, and they like the Japanese setting and they like the story, I think Ghost of Tsushima could win.
All right. Okay. Got Ghosts of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2 for our predictions on that.
Best game direction.
Best game
No,
direction.
best narrative.
Best,
No,
yeah.
best
Okay.
narrative.
Best narrative.
Because the first one was best game direction.
Yeah. All right. What's next, bro?
Best art direction. So this says for outstanding creative and/or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. So we have again 5 nominees for the best art direction. Final Fantasy VII Remake.
That's
It's
a
a lot.
recurring theme, yes.
Yeah, a recurring theme. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Hades. Best art direction again. That's where we're at. Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and The Last of Us Part 2. What game do you think is going to win best art direction?
Oh, I know I want Ori and the Will of the Wisps to win. I freaking love that game. It's so beautiful. And at 120 frames, oh my gosh.
So
it's
you
so
want
good.
it to win.
I want it to win, but it's either that or Ghost of Tsushima, in my opinion. It's between the two.
Yeah, that you
I'm
think
gonna
will win the best art
say
direction.
Ghosts of Tsushima.
Okay. You're going to say Ghost for best art direction.
Yeah, I'll say Ghosts.
Alright. Me personally, I think for the best art direction, I think it will be Ori and the Will of the Wisp. I think this is one thing that people are going to be like, okay, that's a beautiful game. The art design in that game, and the emotions that the whole game evokes through the story, and the art design is a big part of that, right? I do think Ori and the Will of the Wisp will win our best art direction, and I want it to be honest, because
I do too.
it's such a beautiful game.
I hope I'm wrong.
I mean, I love the art direction of The Last of Us Part 2. I think it's good. I mean, but to me, that's not what stands out in that game to me. I think Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Crazy Mate's played this game. I have not played Ori and the Will of the Wisps for more than 5 minutes. I need to. I want to. But
it's beautiful. The music is amazing. The story is incredible. I love it's probably one of the only games that I played that came out this year. So yeah, it's probably gonna be gotta be my game of the year. But
right.
Well, maybe maybe Cyberpunk will take the cake on that, but we'll see.
Maybe. Depends how many hours you put into it and whatnot. But anyways, yeah, I think so you're saying for best art direction, you're saying Ghost of Tsushima, I'm saying Ori and the Will of the Wisps. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Let's move on.
See.
Best score in music. Ooh. Best score in music. Okay. For outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and or licensed soundtrack. So it's pretty much just saying originality. It's like what's the best score in music for originality? Not like taking from other games or past games or
other medium. Yeah.
Yeah. So the nominees for this category is Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and The Last of Us Part 2. And that's best score in music. So tell me, for one, who you want to win best score in music, what game you want to
Oh,
win best
you
score in
know.
music. And, yeah, I know.
You
And tell me
know
for
it's
two,
Ori and the Will of the
what,
Wisps.
yeah,
Personally, I
that's what
think that
you want
game
to win.
has the best music. The music in that game is so freaking amazing. But I think Final Fantasy is going to win that one.
Yeah.
I think a lot
I
of
think
people
Final
really love the
Fantasy.
music for Final Fantasy, and I think it's going to win best music.
Okay. Well, that's what you want to win, and that's what you think's gonna win. I'll tell you what
I
I
hope I'm
want to.
wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
I want Ori and the Will of the Wisps to win the best score in the music. I mean, I love this. I played Ori 1, and I know Ori 2's music's better. Like, I've heard good things about it. But I played The Last of Us Part 2, and I love the music in that game, but I'm not actually going to give it to this for my want or think it's going to win, because I'm actually thinking of something else when it comes to that. But we'll get to that in a little bit. So I want Ori and the Will of the Wisps to win the best score in music, but I think Doom Eternal is. I think the Doom Eternal soundtrack, and I think the soundtrack, it hit on a lot of marks. People love Doom Eternal. Like, when you're slaying freaking demons, dude, with the Demon Slayer or whatever, Doom, whatever his name
The
is or
Doom
whatever,
guy.
you're the Doom guy, when you're slaying demons with the Doom guy and you're listening to the soundtrack, you just feel like such a badass.
Yeah?
I've listened to the Doom Eternal soundtrack, parts of it, and I today, to be honest, because my friend's like, hey, check out Doom Eternal soundtrack, because I was saying how much I love the Halo soundtrack. He's like, yeah, it's good, listen to Doom Eternal soundtrack, and I did, and it's good. Like, it evokes the emotion.
Yeah?
So I think Doom Eternal will win the best score in music.
Alright, we'll see.
Next one, right?
Yeah, what's next?
Best audio design. We're talking best audio design now. So the nominees for best audio design: Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, and The Last of Us Part 2. Okay. What game do you want to win best audio design, and what game do you think will win it?
Well, I haven't really played any of those games. I haven't played any of those games. So I'll just go, I think it's going to be, because I've heard so many great things about the audio in this game, I think it's going to be The Last of Us Part 2.
Okay.
I think it's going to be The Last of Us. It's just
Okay.
the brutalization of the sound of the screaming, and
It is.
the attentiveness of the AI, of knowing what's going on and expressing that in audio is amazing. I think it's going to be The Last of Us Part 2.
Okay, I think I want it to be The Last of Us Part 2. It's the only game out of these that I've played. I really love The Last of Us Part 2. I really want it to be The Last of Us Part 2, and I think it will be The Last. So I'm going to go with The Last of Us Part 2, because I think the audio design was so good, so good.
I gotta play it. I got so many games to play. It's insane.
Oh, I know, dude. All right, we're moving on to the next one. We got to start rolling through this. We're hitting about an hour. We're almost 2 hours now.
Almost at 2 hours.
This is our longest show so far, so I'm pretty sure this is the longest one we got.
This is the longest show so far, but let's keep it rolling, bro. Let's get into it. What's the next one?
Best performance. Awarded to an individual for voice over acting, motion, and or performance capture. Okay, 5 nominees again. We got Ashley Johnson as Ellie of The Last of Us Part 2. We got Laura Bailey as Abby of The Last of Us Part 2. We have Daisuke Tajushi as Jin Sakai in Ghost of Tsushima. We have Logan Cunningham as Hades in Hades. We have Najee Jeter as Miles Morales in Miles Morales. Okay, who do you want to win best performance, and who do you think is going to win best performance?
Well, Ellie's is the same actor as the first one, correct?
Yes.
So I want Ellie to win. What's her name?
Ashley Johnson.
I want Ashley Johnson to win, but I just have a feeling that it might be Hades.
Yeah?
Might be Hades that wins this. Yeah. I don't know why. I just got a feeling. Let's see if my feeling's correct.
So I'm gonna kind of mirror what you're saying in a way, but not really. I want Ashley Johnson as Ellie to win. I do, and I think she could, but I don't think she will. I think she could, but I don't think she will. I hope she does, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm gonna Naughty Jeter Miles Morales. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
As what I think is gonna happen. Yeah, I think Naughty Jeter Miles Morales is gonna happen for best performance.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens tomorrow then. About that.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, next category: games for impact, for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. Okay, I don't know a lot of this. Played these. Most of them are indie games, to be honest. I haven't played these. I haven't played any of them. The first one's If Found. The second one's Kentucky Route Zero TV Edition. The third one's Spiritfarer. The fourth one's Tell Me Why. The fifth one's Through the Darkest of Times. So, who do you think's gonna win?
Tell me why.
Yeah, I want Tell Me Why to win, and I too. I think it did have a good impact when it came to pro social meaning. I'm pretty sure there is talks about
I
different things when it comes
yeah. I
to
think just tell me
the
why.
LGBTQ community. Okay. Next category is best ongoing. Who is going to win best ongoing performance or best ongoing game is what it is. Awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Okay. It comes to the nominees, they're Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, No Man's Sky. That's best ongoing game.
All
Who do you
right.
want to win, and who do you think is going to win?
Who I want to win is No Man's Sky. That game has come such a long way. I bought it when it first came out, and sorry, I played it through, from when it first came out on through its development, and when it became good. I think they deserve it. I really want No Man's Sky to win, but I just think it's gonna be Fortnite. It's just
Yeah, probably.
it's Fortnite. Everybody's just like plays Fortnite. They love the story, like the different events and stuff like that. You got all these beloved characters like Iron Man and these superheroes. I just think it's gonna be Fortnite. As much as I want No Man's Sky, yes, I think it's gonna be Fortnite. Sadly.
Yeah, probably. Well, I think. Here's what I think for best ongoing. I think that Call of Duty Warzone will win the best ongoing game. Honestly, do. Well, I want Destiny 2 to win it because even though I don't really play Destiny 2, the only game I played is a little bit of Fortnite on any of these, and I don't care for Fortnite, but I think Call of Duty Warzone will because it's been such a big game this year, and it's continuing to look like it's going to stay a big game. But I want Destiny 2 because even though they left Activision, they've still been trying to just push this game and make it the best game it can possibly be. They want this game to be as best as it can be, and they don't even have a publisher right now, but they have a platform. The game's already been published; it's already out, but they have a platform. And all they have to do now is marketing for the game. But it's a good ongoing game. It's good. People love Destiny 2.
Yeah, that's a good one. Either one, I think that's good. Good prediction, good answer. All right, what's next,
we'll
bro?
see though.
We'll see.
Best
Yep.
indie for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. Best indie. Carry On, Fall Guys, Ultimate Knockout, Hades, Spelunky 2, Spiritfarer. Who do you think's gonna win Best Indie? Who do you want to win Best Indie?
I want to win is Fall Guys.
All right.
Fall Guys seems like a lot of fun. I watch it a lot. It's very enjoyable to watch, and it seems like a very enjoyable thing to fun. It's like so unique, and especially like this time in 2020 where he's stuck at home, having like just a little goofy like game to play with a ton of people, multiplayer game. a different type of battle royale, basically.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna be Hades because I just heard so much praise about the game. I think it's gonna be Hades.
Yeah, I'm gonna mirror what you're saying. I kind of want Fall Guys to win because even though the game came out last year, as far as I understand, that was Among Us that came out last year.
Yeah.
Fall Guys came out this year, but it blew up. It's not on Xbox. I want it to come out to Xbox. I really do. I think Fall Guys, I want them to win, but I honestly think it will be Hades. I think there's so much praise for Hades, and I think Fall Guys is going to have a hard time competing with Hades.
Yeah. It's just, yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Best mobile game for the best game playable on a mobile device. Okay, we have Among Us, Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, Legends of Rutanara, Pokemon Cafe Mix. So who do you want to win, and who do you think's gonna win?
Oh, I want Among Us to win. I love that game. Among Us is so fun.
Yeah.
But sorry, I got something in my throat.
It's all good.
I think it's gonna be Warzone Mobile or Call of Duty Mobile.
No, Call of Duty Mobile.
Call of Duty Mobile.
Yeah.
It's just
Again.
It's Call of Duty. It's
yeah.
It's just so well known, wide known, beloved. I think it'll be Call of Duty Mobile.
Yeah, probably. So for best mobile, I want Among Us to win because that's a game that kind of blew up this year, even though it didn't come out this year. And I agree with you. I think Call of Duty Mobile will probably win because it's such a massive game. So I think Call of Duty Mobile's gonna win, but
I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's Among Us.
I hope Among Us wins too. Okay, best community support. Recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates / patches. So we're talking like best community support is pretty self-explanatory. There's 6 games in this category, nominated in this category. Or got Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Fortnite, No Man's Sky, Valorant. Who do you think is going to win best community support?
Destiny 2. I'm going to say Destiny 2, and I kind of want it to win.
Yeah.
I didn't really play Destiny, but I kind of want Destiny to win that one. I think they're really good with their community, and they just...
Well, yeah.
So that's both of them I want, and I think Destiny 2 is going to win.
Yeah, I like that sentiment. I think Fortnite's going to win, to be honest. I think Fortnite's going to win the best community. But I honestly do want Destiny 2 to win that because they do have really good community support, and the community feedback has actually shaped that game.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it'll be Fortnite, but I want Destiny 2 to win. Alrighty, next one. Best VR / AR. Okay, Dreams, Half-Life Alyx, Marvel's Iron Man VR, Star Wars Squadrons, The Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners. Okay, who do you think is gonna win?
Half-Life Alyx. There's probably like no doubt. I've like heard great things about all of these games, though. But
Right.
Half-Life. There's so many that love the Half-Life series and have been anticipating it, and it just exceeded their expectations. I really think it's gonna be Half-Life Alyx.
Me too. I think it'll be Half-Life Alyx, and I want. So let's move on. Innovation in accessibility. Recognizing software and/or hardware that is by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience.
Start over. You cut out, so let's just start over with that. Alright, okay, back.
Innovation in accessibility. It's recognizing software that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience.
Alright. Okay.
So there's 5 nominees: Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Grounded, Hyperdot, The Last of Us Part 2, and Watch Dogs Legions. Go ahead.
I want Grounded to win. I think it will. I want it to win. I think it will. It people didn't expect it. Like people were looking at this doofy little kid game. Oh, mom, honey, I shrunk the kids, and they were laughing about it. And they really was like, wow, this is actually it's actually a lot of fun. It's actually pretty good. And created its own community, and I think it's just unexpected. I want Grounded to win, and I think it will.
I'm gonna agree with you. I want Grounded to win as well. I think it will. I think that it innovated quite well. I think when you think about games like The Last of Us Part 2, I mean, the innovation, it's more subtle. I think Assassin's Creed could win, and I do think it innovated, but I think it's gonna be Grounded.
I just don't see how it innovated enough compared to all the other Assassin's Creeds. It's just...
Yeah, true, but or Watch Dogs Legion innovating compared to other Watch Dogs. I don't know. I think I'm hoping Grounded.
I hope it's Grounded too. Yep.
Let's move on to the best action. For the best game in the action genre, focused primarily on combat. Action games, cool. Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, Streets of Rage 4. What do you think?
Doom Eternal.
Yeah, dude, Doom Eternal. I think Doom Eternal will win, but I want Half-Life Alyx to win. And I think it could win. I think it's a possibility. But honestly, probably Doom Eternal will win. I would like Half-Life Alyx to win.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Get on to the next one.
Next topic. Best action/adventure. It says for the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. There's 6 nominees in this category. We have Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and The Last of Us Part 2.
I want Jedi Fallen Order to win this because they got snuffed. I want them to win.
Yeah,
they deserve it.
They do. They deserve to win something, dude.
But what was the first one?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
I think that might win. I think
don't know, maybe.
Assassin's Creed. I want Jedi Fallen Order to win. I just this one's a hard one though. I don't know because there's Miles Morales. There's
Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Yeah, I don't see that being the winner on this. Up against these games, no.
Yeah. I don't know. This one's a hard one for me too because I think Ghost of Tsushima could win.
I'm just gonna go with I think they're gonna give it to Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay.
They snuffed it last year. I wanted to win. I think they might give it to them.
I kind of want The Last of Us Part 2 to win because I like the action adventure, even though there isn't a lot of puzzle solving. There's only a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any more thoughts about this category?
Oh well, I was just gonna say that this is the only category that Jedi Fallen Order is even in, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like I think they'll probably give it to him. To be honest,
I hope so. That would be pretty cool.
Too. That would be great. So they deserve it.
Okay, best role-playing game. We have Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royale, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. Go ahead.
Final Fantasy. That's what I think is going to win.
For best role-playing?
Yes, okay. Final Fantasy all the way. I just don't see any doubt about that.
I want Wasteland 3 to win, to be honest.
Yeah. I can see that.
Do I think it will?
Too.
And then I think it'll be Final Fantasy VII Remake, dude.
Yeah, it's just... I look at the options of that, and it's like... I haven't played any of those, but it's just... People love Final Fantasy VII and Remake. And they don't find...
Right.
It's an amazing RPG. Of course
All right.
it's gonna win. So.
You ready to move on?
Yep. What's the next one?
We have best fighting game. We have Grand Blue Fantasy versus Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, Street Fighter V Champion Edition, One Punch Man, A Hero Nobody Knows, Under Night in Birth X Late CLR. I don't know. Fighting. What fighting game do you think is gonna win?
Mortal Kombat. I think it might be Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate too, as well. Okay, best family game. Animal Crossing's New Horizon, Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, Mario Kart Live, Home Circuit, Minecraft Dungeons, Paper Mario, The Origami King. Who do you think's gonna win best family?
I want Minecraft Dungeons. I want Xbox to win some, but I don't think there's any doubt that it's gonna be Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I really do want Minecraft Dungeons to win, or Fall Guys. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
But it's
both
probably
of
gonna
those,
be
but-
Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Let's go. Best sim/strategy. This is one that I already know what you're gonna say most likely. Crusader Kings 3, Desperados 3, Gears Tactics, Microsoft Flight Simulator, XCOM Chimera Squad.
Okay, so I want Crusader Kings 3 to win so badly.
Yeah, I
That
knew
is a
that.
phenomenal game. I love that game. But it's going up against Flight Simulator, dude. And that is a true simulator.
True.
It's a simulator that be used to train pilots. It's just I just don't see it not winning.
Yeah. I want Gears Tactics to win, but I agree with you. I think Microsoft Flight Simulator will win. It's just a pure sim, and it's a good one. Like it's a good quality game. Okay. Best sports/racing. Dirt 5, F1 2020, FIFA 21, NBA 2K21, and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2 or 1 and 2. What do you think is gonna win best sports and racing?
NBA 2K.
You think NBA with 2K will win?
Is just gonna win because it's like I don't know why. I just think it is. I kind of want either Skate or Tony Hawk or Dirt 5 to win, but I think it's gonna be NBA.
Okay, I think Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 will win because people love Tony Hawk, and from what I got out of those games, they're pretty good remasters. But I want Dirt 5 to win.
Yeah.
I want Dirt 5 to win the best sports and racing, but I think it's gonna be Tony Hawk's.
All right, we'll see. We'll score each other and see how many we got.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I guess
Who wins
after the fact and who got more right. Probably not me, but we'll see. Best multiplayer. We have Animal Crossing's New Horizon, Among Us, Call of Duty Warzone, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, and Valorant. Those are the 5 for best multiplayer. What do you think?
I think Fall Guys is gonna win, but I want Among Us to win.
Okay. I think Call of Duty Warzone's gonna win, but kind of want Valorant to win. I want Valorant to win.
Yeah. Why is that?
Yeah, because Valorant's a newer. It's like it's a game that wasn't super hype necessarily, but when it came out and people just clung to it, and it seems like a really good game. It
seems like a mixture between Apex Legends and Overwatch to me. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, but it's not technically a BR battle royale.
It's more of like what Overwatch is.
Yeah, but I want Valorant to win because I think it's a good game. I mean, I've never played it, but from what I've heard it's a really good game, and
I've watched people play. I've seen it,
but honestly, I think Call of Duty Warzone's taking the bag, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt
Because
that.
people
So
with that game, dude, like there's so many people play that game. Yeah.
yeah,
Ready for
Warzone's
the next
big.
topic?
Yeah, ready for the next
Warzone's big, yeah.
nominees.
Okay. We have Content Creator of the Year, 5 nominees. Alana Pierce, J.N. Lopez, Nick Merckx, Tim the Tapman, and Valkyrie. Honestly, I don't really know much of these content creators. I don't know if you do.
I know Valkyrie. Uh,
Oh, yeah?
so I'll just pick him. I've
It's
watched
her.
him play Among Us. Oh, her. Yeah.
It's her.
Valkyrie. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Seen her play Among Us, so that's the only
I'm
one I
going to go
know.
with Alana Pierce. I subscribe to Alana Pierce. I have for a while. I like her. Like, she used to be part of RGN. I like her as a content creator. So, I'm gonna say Alana Pierce. All right. Next one, because there's some of these we're not gonna do because they're about esports, and I don't really want to talk about the esports stuff.
Yeah, it's just get through this. Yeah.
So we got 2 more that we're gonna do. We're gonna skip the esports stuff. We got 2 more. Best debut game for the best debut game created by new independent studio. Okay, we have Carrion by Phobia Game Studios / Devolver. We have Mortal Shell, Cold Symmetry / Playstack. We have Raji, an ancient epic. We have Nottinghead Games, Roki, Polygon Treehouse, Blasphemy, Kinetic Games. Huh.
Or
Honestly,
you miss. I think you mispronounced it. It's Phasmophobia. Is in there.
yeah, Phasmophobia. Sorry, man.
Phasmophobia.
I don't know.
I want that game to win, and I think it will. It's.
I think Carry On will win.
I love watching that game, and I really want to play it. It's a horror game.
Yeah.
It's also in VR, and you.
Oh, really? Dang.
You go. You pick a haunted place, and basically you're the team that goes in and tries to discover what type of ghost you're dealing with. So you got to do certain things without the ghost killing you, because the ghost can kill you, and you got to get out safely and figure out what type of ghost you're dealing with. And it seems like a lot of fun.
Interesting. Well, you think Phasmophobia?
Phasmophobia, yep.
I think Carry On will win. Okay. All right. What we've all been waiting for.
Drum roll, yep. Let's get into it. Game of the year.
Yeah. All right. Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. There's 6 nominees for this one. 6 nominees. We have Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and The Last of Us Part 2. So crazy, mate. Who do you want to win the Game of the Year, and who do you think will win the Game of the Year?
I want Doom Eternal to win, but I think it might be Hades. I just do.
Yeah, you do?
I think it might be Hades that wins.
Okay. You want to know what I think about it?
Yeah, what's your thoughts? Because
I want The Last of Us Part 2 to win. Yeah, they are.
I already know that.
I want The Last of Us Part 2 to win, and I honestly think it will. I think it will. I think it's going to win.
Ooh, really? You might take that.
Yeah, I think it will. Nah, man, I don't think. I'm going to take it out. I really think it'll win. I think.
We'll see, dude.
Yeah, I really think it'll win. I hope it does, too, for the Game of the Year. And that's going to be the Game of the Year. And the VGAs, what we think will happen with the VGAs, whether it's game announcements, that interview with Phil Spencer and Lisa Su, and the games that win these categories. We could get into esports stuff, but I don't really feel like it. I mean,
yeah, this is a long one. We're at 2 hours, about 2 hours and 20 minutes, so
I don't even think we should do the games we've been playing. I don't think we should do it this week because, I mean, I've just been playing PUBG, to be honest.
I've been playing. I've already kind of talked about it. I've been playing a Shadow of War, and I finished Outlast with my girlfriend. So that's all I've been playing. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Leave a like, leave a comment. Tell us what you think. Tell us what you think we could do better. You know, we want feedback from you guys. So
Tell us what you like, what you don't like. Talk about what we talked about in the comments or whatever. If you
yeah,
listen to this, you have any thoughts about what we talked about, any ideas? Who do you think's gonna win Game of the Year?
yeah.
Like that type of stuff.
Leave a like, leave a comment, and we'll get back to you. We'll talk to you, and we hope you enjoyed. And we'll see you next week. This has been the BIA Gamecast. Thanks for
Yep.
tuning in.
See ya.
Bye. Good night.